Oh, hello. Greetings, grasshoppers. My name is RJ Redden. Entrepreneurs hire me to skyrocket their engagement because most are shouting into a black hole or they're not getting any traction online and they're a carbon copy of everybody else. So I create epic engagement experiences that get people to click that button, connect with you, and convert like crazy. I am on a mission to get 1 million people to join the engagement marketing revolution. Today, we're going to start with you. And today, I've got a special guest, John Ainsworth from Data Driven Marketing. John and I were introduced by a friend of ours, Charles Bird. John is a guy who will help you sell those courses. All of that genius that you've saved up, put in a bunch of videos, put online. If you feel like you're not getting enough traffic to those right now, there might be a reason, and this man might be able to illuminate why. So I'm going to bring up John. John, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here.
Hey, RJ, how you doing? You all right?
Good. Well, so gosh, I wanted to bring you on because I know that my crowd, my coaches, my teachers, my trainers, everybody out there who've written a really awesome course, a lot of them don't get traction, and you know that for sure. So tell me who you are, how you came to do what you do. Tell me everything.
All right, cool. So yeah, my name's John Ainsworth and I run Data Driven Marketing, like you mentioned. And we help online course creators to sell more of their courses to their existing visitors and leads. So we convert more visitors into leads, more leads into sales, and then help them to sell more to each of those people.
Excellent. So tell me what drove you to start a business serving course creators?
So I used to run a business for 10 years, helping get people into physical activity, cancer patients and disabled people, and all kinds of hard to reach groups, supporting them to get active. And we built up a whole load of systems working with government and health charities doing that. And we found that we'd built all these systems that were really effective in terms of engaging people into the activity. And I was really curious to know if that was going to cross over to work in the private sector, like how well that kind of thing would work. And I helped a friend of mine who was running a martial arts academy. And he was working as a personal trainer because he was running this martial arts academy part-time and he was making a bit of money from it. And we worked together. I supported him for a few months and he filled up all of his classes, had to put more classes on every evening, put classes on more evenings, open up a second academy, quit his job as a personal trainer. I was like, oh, this stuff works really well in the private sector. This is cool. This is nice. So then I started working with like a whole bunch of different companies and doing this kind of thing for them, building funnels, email, follow up, that kind of stuff. And we were trying to figure out like who's the best people to help, who's the place where we can help the most with this. And what I found is that the coaches and online course creators tend to be a really nice group of people. They really they're an expert in something. They want to share their knowledge with the world. They want to get it out there. They want to help people to learn how to do what they know how to do. And they're just really pleasant and charming people to work with. So that was kind of a big part of the draw for me. Like a lot of them as well, because they're creating so much content in their courses, they're often really good at creating content for sharing online as well. So they tend to have good traffic from YouTube or a podcast or SEO or something like that. And the work that we do is kind of dependent on people who've already got some traffic, already got a bit of website traffic, a bit of an email list, that kind of thing. So that made it easier as well. But yeah, a lot of it's just come down to like there's a really good fit between what we do. We've had really good results with people who are selling online courses, so that was a big part of it. And then just liking the audience, knowing that we could help them to get their courses out in more people's hands and help people change their lives a bit.
Yeah, well, because I think one of the greatest problems, frustrations that people have is just when they put all of their genius into something and they work really, really hard on it. They don't do that so that they can sell a billion, although selling a billion might be great.
Yeah.
Um, the reason why they spend so much time, effort, and love into that is because they really want to transform people. They really want to help them transform. So it's as much about getting, putting your genius online and being able to get paid for the course, but it's also this wish to help people transform.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's it's not only kind of when people aren't getting when people don't have an effective funnel to turn leads or contacts into leads, like you were saying before, when people don't have an effective funnel to do that, it's a bank account heartbreak, but it's also a personal one.
Yeah.
And I think
a lot of people, they say, like, I've got all these people coming to my website and I've got these courses which are amazing. And when people buy them, they love them and they tell me how much they love them. So why are more of these people not turning into these people? Like, why are they not converting? And it's like, oh, because you don't have a funnel set up and your email follow-up is no good. It's like, it's not like a new invention. I didn't come up with this, it's like, it's been around a while, it exists, but it's like, but the people who are online course creators, they're not necessarily marketers. They're not necessarily really great at this stuff. A lot of the people who we get as clients, they'll have had success. They'll have like gone through a course from Digital Marketer or Frank Kern or whoever, and they'll have learned how to do something, and they'll have put something up in place, and they've gone, oh, this works. It's like, wow, this is really cool. It's like, if you share information in the right way at the right time with a promotion at the end of it, then it works really, really well. And they're like, boy, it's a lot of work though, isn't it? It's just that takes me a lot of time. So like, I wonder if somebody could do this for me. And that's generally when we talk to people, because there's the understanding that if you do more of this, you're going to make more money from it. You're going to help more people. You're going to sell more courses, So yeah, that's what we tend to see a lot with this audience. Does that ring true to you for what you're finding when you're talking to people?
Absolutely, because the people who kind of lead, shall I say, with their heart on their sleeve, a little bit like me, the people who have kind of that sort of a business where they want to help people transform, wanting to help people is on this high on the list. Knowing how to market is this high on the list because they observe most marketers being pushy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it turns them off.
I hear that from people a lot. They're like, oh, I don't want to become Russell Brunson. I don't want to be a spammy, pushy marketer. And it's totally possible to help people to be able to sell, to be able to help people to buy your courses, to be able to get that promotional message out there without being really pushy. Like, I've got a friend, Shona, and she's so sweet. She's so lovely. She runs a site called Perfect English Grammar. And she helps people to learn English grammar. And she was really against being promotional and pushing, so she wasn't sending out any email promotions. And we worked through together and helped her to see that if she sent out, she took one of her courses and she took 5 bite-sized snippets from in that course, and every day she sent out one of those snippets, like just a 5-minute little thing someone could do. And in there, she put, like, by the way, we've got a sale on this course at the moment. If you get it now, you'll get a third off or something like that. At the top and the bottom, a couple of testimonials, something like that. But every day was like a useful piece of content from there. And then the last day of the week, she now sends an email saying it's the last chance to get this before the discount is gone. And that's it. So that's the only one that is actually a promotional message. And it's like 2 lines long, super, super short, sharing tons of content. And she makes loads more money from it. Like, by implementing that twice a month, she's now doubled her revenue. And it's like, okay, could you do that? It doesn't sound too pushy, right? It's like, that's okay. You can, that's allowed, isn't it? You're allowed to send people little bits of information and tell them they can buy the course. And there's things like that people just don't know that they're even possibilities.
It's true because we're faced, I think, so much on a regular basis. And now I'm talking about every entrepreneur out there and everybody else. We're faced in our inbox with a lot of pushy tactics.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of, oh my God, you have to get this now. And
Yeah.
you're gonna miss the bus.
Otherwise, your life will be destroyed. And
Exactly. Either your life will be destroyed if you don't, or your life will be incredibly amazing and you'll be instantly transported to a cruise on the Pacific Ocean and given $1 million if you get this thing right now. And I mean, we're all tired, and I think. Do you think this is an unrehearsed question, but do you think that COVID has had an effect on the way that we see pushy marketing?
Oh, that's an interesting question. How do you mean?
I mean, I'm it seems like people are a little bit more because we're kind of isolated, but we have these little, portals where we kind of reach out to the world. And my personal opinion, and I have no evidence for this, is that people have started to kind of see through that stuff a little easier because we don't have as many distractions. I think that people are seeing that kind of marketing and saying, you know what, just unsubscribe. I think people are getting rid of the clutter, and pushy marketing is definitely something that people just hate.
Yeah, yeah. And the tricky thing with it is that it works, but the problem with it is that, like you say, maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's stopping working as well. I couldn't say for sure, but the thing is that lots of people just won't do it. If that's the option, then they just won't send that kind of marketing because they're like, well, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that kind of person. So then they don't do it, and then they don't make money from it. But it's like there are other ways. There are ways like with the stuff you're doing, being really engaging and helping people and showing them how they can get involved more with the course, and then that they take the course. They go through, and actually, because they're going through the bot and they're actually using the course, they're much more likely to then buy something else from you. It's like, that's nice, that's helpful, that's friendly. It's like, I used to do sales door to door, and that's like the full impression, right? Door to door sales is you've got to be proper pushy. And it's like, you can just be really nice. You just smile a lot, then people want to hang out with you, and they're like, okay, cool, I'll have a look at what you've got to show, and you show it. And if it's, you ask them lots of questions, and you really friendly, and people buy stuff, so there's other ways of doing things.
There really is. And I think that we're just not, we're not exposed to it. We don't know it's out there, but there are plenty of non-pushy ways to make people an offer of something that's valuable.
Yeah.
Without being all, the world's going to end tonight if you don't get this thing by midnight, which there's just way too much of that out there. Do you find that also you're working with, course builders of all kinds? Do you find that they also maybe have a little bit of a problem tooting their own horn a lot of times, like really, saying these are the benefits of getting this? Do you find that there's also kind of a problem there that you need to help people with?
Yeah, I do. I think the bigger one is about making actually telling people this is available, you can go and buy it. But even like you say, I think the thing about the benefits, do you actually want to bring that up and tell people how great something is? I do see that. I think as well, a lot of people just don't know they don't know why this stuff is worth doing. Like from the consumer's point of view, from the prospect's point of view, they don't understand that people want to know, what am I going to get out of it? They want to know, what problem does this solve? They want to know, is this something that other people have also had good experiences with? And so therefore you should include testimonials, talk about the pain points, talk about the benefits. And so you're not talking about the pain points and the benefits in order to ram this down someone's throat. You're doing it to help them figure out, is this a good fit for them?
Yeah.
Like all you were doing was saying, whatever situation you're in, you should buy this. This is amazing. This is like, I'm incredible. Then, okay, that's a bit annoying. But if you said the kind of people who get a lot of value out of this are people who've got this particular problem. Does this sound like you? You know, are you someone who has trouble learning grammar? You didn't ever learn it properly at school. You've got frustrations when you're going and talking with people because you maybe are worried you're saying things in the wrong order. You really want to just learn what the rules are and you want to know how it all works and be able to plan it all out. Does that, if that sounds like you, this is probably a good fit. Like the same way you would talk to somebody in person, like one-to-one, like you might start by asking them some questions about themselves before you offer something. Well, just do the same kind of thing, but just on the page. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of mental blocks people have about it. There's a lot of them.
And what I love about you is that, I mean, you're one of the few people that I've met, honestly, that build funnels that talk about real human beings at the other end of those funnels. You know what I mean? Most of the people that I, have run across in my life that are marketers they're completely, they'll stat you to death. It's all about clicks. But it really seems that one of the things that make you stand out, at least in my mind, is you do care about the human beings going through the funnel, and you care about the human being that you're building the funnel for. It's not just, well, hey, look, we 350 times this person's business, although I'm sure that you do. It's also about the human beings involved, and that's marketing that I love.
I wonder, it might be, I've never thought about that as being, maybe I'm too close to it, as being like such a distinctive point about us. So that's really helpful. I appreciate that. I wonder if one of the things is because I come from like a sales background, because I was like, I did door-to-door sales when I was a student for 4 years, and then I've kind of done sales since. But the way I do, like, as in I've I've done all the sales for our own agency, but the way I've always done it seems to be quite different to other people in terms of like, I'll talk to people and I'll ask them about their problems, and then I'll say, do you want some help with that? And people are like, yeah, that would be great. That's like, there's nothing pushy or spammy or anything about that. It's just like, just asking people about their lives and saying, do you want some help? And I've never really thought of it that much as sales. It's just like, it's just helping people and being nice. And I think the same kind of thing fits with doing it online. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm really bringing from this conversation, is that nice people can win.
Yeah. So I've got a friend, Rob Dix. He's awesome. And he runs a business called Property Hub. And they've got one of the top business podcasts in the UK. And he runs all these services behind that. They help people to buy property. They help them to rent the property out. They help manage the properties, all that kind of stuff that people, like estate agents and what have you normally do, or lettings agents, what have you. And that whole sector is so full of like aggressive, spammy, unprincipled people and he's so sweet and so nice and so kind. And they started this podcast in this area, and they found there's this whole demand from people who are like, well, I don't want to talk to spammy, aggressive, unpleasant people. I really like you and your style and the fact that you are honest and you explain things properly, and you don't say you're going to make this much money, it's going to be amazing. And like, well, it's kind of complicated, and you might do this and it might be like that, and this is what our experience has been. And it's worked out amazingly for them. They've built up this like huge business, doing fantastically well. And it's like, that is a market out there. There's a group of people who are like sick of, like you were saying earlier, of all of this spammy, aggressive, pushy marketing, and they don't want to have that. And they've got options now. They've got people like Rob they can go to. And yeah, I think that seems to be one of the biggest blocks people have, is thinking that it's an either or. It's like either what's that term? Nice guys finish last.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that's not what I found. I found dating was fine. It's just you talk to people and you're nice and friendly and charming. It's like lots of people are happy to. You don't have to be a wuss about it in order to, just because you're nice doesn't mean that you have to be, a walkover or something.
That's right. And that's what I think that's one of the reasons people just seem to be afraid to put themselves out there is, will I be walked on? I talk to a lot of folks that are, that are they want to put out a live stream, or they want to, do a blog or something like that, and they want to do it, but they're afraid of putting out way too much information. They're afraid of people in the comments. They're afraid of being walked on, as you say. um what do you think makes because there's a lot of funnel builders out there, my friend.
Mm.
What makes you different? What makes your business, data-driven marketing, stand out among the rest?
Well, I think from the people that we attract, it seems to be some of the stuff that you were saying earlier, in terms of it's people who are very ethical and they really want to be able to help people, and they're worried about being spammy and pushy. So that's one part of it. And then, as the name suggests, we're also really data driven. So one of the things that we'll do is before we start writing any copy for a sales page or for emails or anything like that, we'll do a lot of work where we'll go through and understand the customer avatar. We'll understand who the audience is, do the research, do customer surveys, just really try and understand who is it that we are talking with, who is the customer, who are the people who tend to buy this. What are their pain points? What are the benefits they're interested in? What's the thing in their life that really bothers them that this can help with? What is it that just winds them up, keeps them up at night, annoys them, irritates them? What do they want their life to be like? How would they like it to be? What would their ideal day be like? What would they like to be? How would they like to be seen by their friends and family? All that kind of thing. So we'll learn all of that first, and then we're able to write copy that is empathetic and helpful and friendly and pleasant and charming and that kind of thing. We also do a lot of work around, from the data point of view, around understanding exactly how the things are currently converting, like what offers are working, what is it that people are resonating with, and which ones aren't doing, so that we can put the right offer in the right place. And that's another part, I think, of funnels that's really important, is what are you offering people? Are you offering the right thing to the right person? So I guess it's a combination of all of those things seems to be what's different about us. I'd be honest, I don't look at what any competitors are doing very often. So I kind of don't know how different that is, but it seems to be that that's different to what other people are doing.
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly a different offer all around. It's performing some of the same actions, but you do it in a different way. You reach people on a different level, I think. I've been to a lot of events. I've heard a lot of pitches about funnels. And and I've been through the pitches where they show the housewife who made $60 trillion last year, and I've done all of that stuff, and I've heard it and over again, and I hear it in my inbox too. What to me is impressive is, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's get to the bottom of it before we start. Seek to understand where that person is at before you start building as well. And most people probably do something like that, but my guess is, and my instinct is that when you do that part right, it's like, I used to be a house painter. I'm really short, by the way. I know you can't tell by this picture, but I'm really short and I'm afraid of heights. So house painter, not a great vocation for me. It didn't last too long, but 90% of the job was prepping the house, getting the house ready. If you could get the house ready well enough, tape things off, make sure nothing's going to touch anything it's not supposed to, move the furniture, whatever. If you could do that well enough, you could do that job effectively and efficiently and quick. You could get in and get out with the paint. And that's sometimes that kind of reminds me on how we approach how we approach bots is, we need to know inside and out what that person is all about before we start writing. And, people that takes the same approach just impress me. So I want to tell people quick, because we have run out of time, you and I. I mean, I don't know how we did it, but we have talked away almost a half an hour. Tell people about your calculator.
Yeah, so one of the things that I find is that people know that funnels are a good idea. They know they should have a funnel. They know that it's something that people recommend, but they don't know if it's worth working on. How much money is it actually going to make them? So what we did is we built out a funnel revenue calculator. So you can go to datadrivenmarketing.co/calculator, and you put in your numbers, your website traffic, any upsells that you could have in the funnel, this kind of thing, how many email list subscribers you got, and you press go, and it tells you how much money you could make from it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's I'm going there myself later. But yeah, that's an important piece of information. I'm not necessarily super numbers. I'm not a super numbers person. My wife is. Thank God someone in this house is. But spreadsheets tend to make me squeamish. And I'm not totally, into the numbers, but at least knowing some goalposts, knowing some guidelines, and having a vision of where you want to be is really helpful in guiding that rocket that you're trying to become.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I find this is really helpful as well, because when people put the numbers in and they go, oh, I could make that much. Right, let me go and work on this. And I helped someone recently. She went through the calculator, and I've been trying to explain to her about upsells and why they're important. She went through the calculator, saw how much she could be making, and was like, okay, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And the next day she'd made $1,500 extra.
Whoa!
Yeah. It's like she had a promotion she was sending with no upsell. It's like, put an upsell in place, you made $1,500 more than she would have done. So yeah, this stuff is pretty cool.
Nice. Well, John Ainsworth, I indeed have a lot to learn from you. And so does my crowd. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing you again, and possibly we talked about doing some stuff in the future. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for introducing yourself to my audience, because we need to hear this. We need to hear that funnels don't have to be fake, that nice people can win, that you can make sales in a way that is non-douchey, non-pushy. You are just making an offer to people that are well-informed and can give you a well-informed yes or a no. And when you put it in those terms, that really seems like something that people can do. Thanks for making that available to us. Do you have any final words of wisdom for the audience?
Oh my goodness! Now you're putting me on the spot. I think I just would summarize what I'd already said. Is like, I think it's so important. It's like, if you've got visitors and you've got courses, and you're not selling as many of them as you would like, you need to put a funnel together. It's like, it's just so crucial.
Yeah. So my friends, John is the guy to see at Data Driven Marketing. If you have a bunch of courses out there that are just not turning over, or not turning over as well as you'd like, there's a solution. My friend John here has it. Thanks for coming on the show today, my friend. I'm going to drop you down into the bottom bar and finish out. Thanks everybody for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow, same bot time, same bot channel, 10 a.m. Central, with some more for you about the bots. And just want to say it's a real pleasure doing this show. I want to thank you for coming. And that's it for me today. I will see you in a bot.